Question 14, and we've got a binomial expansion. We've been asked to find the coefficient of x to the fifth in the expansion of this expression here. So this will be a binomial expansion, and these are just two terms. So what, when we multiply the binomial expansion by the x squared term and the number term, which terms in our expansion here will generate x to the fifth? So for this expansion, we will want the x to the fifth term of our binomial expression. But for this term, we will need the x cubed term from our binomial expansion to multiply with the x squared to give us an x to the fifth coefficient. Here's the expansion formula for our second bracket. So substituting our values in, a is equal to 3, b is equal to negative half x, and n is equal to 6. And we'll want the x to the third expansion and the x to the fifth expansion. So written out for us here is effectively the x to the third expansion, and we'll have to work out the x to the fifth expansion from just extending our knowledge of this formula. So let's get the third out of the way first. So this is 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 over 3 times 2. A is equal to 3, so 3 is raised to the power of 6 minus 3, which is 3, and b, which is negative a half. Now, is this going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative, so I'm going to put a negative sign out here, and this is going to be a half cubed, so this is 1 over 8 x cubed. So simplifying this, for those who like cancelling, 3 goes into the 6 2 times, and then the 2 will cancel with the 2 underneath. We've got a 4 here, and we've got an 8 here. This is again 2. So is there anything more I can do? 3 times 3 got 27 here, 27, 5. No, there's nothing more I can do. 27 times 5 is 135. So this is 135 on the top. On the bottom, just 2. It's negative, and it's x cubed. And that's our x cubed term of the binomial expansion. Now we've got to generate the x to the fifth term. So this is going to be n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4. That sorts out that bit, over, this times 5 factorial. And the a term, this will become n minus 5, and b raised to the power 5. Now let's work that out. We've got 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2, and that's divided by 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. N is 6, remember a is 3, 6 minus 5 is 1, so this is just simply multiplied by 3 and multiplied by, now, the negative a half x raised to the power 5. Is it going to be negative? Yes, it is. So I'll put a negative sign out the front. A half raised to the power 5, which is 1 over 32, and x raised to the power 5 is x to the fifth. Cancel away 5 with the 5, and so on. I can take a 2 out of that. That becomes 3. This becomes 16. So this is equal to negative, remaining on the top 9, remaining on the bottom 16, 9 over 16, x to the fifth. So I've brought our two results down for x to the power 3 and x to the power 5, and I've put them into a bracket here, and I've brought down our first bracket, 5 plus 8x squared. Which are the multiplications we need? This is one of them, and this is the other. Remember, we're not multiplying the whole thing out, so this is not an equals. So the x to the fifth term must be equal to this multiplication, which is negative 45 over 16 x to the fifth, and this multiplication, which is negative 540 x to the fifth. Bringing this all together, putting it on a common denominator of 16, we get negative 8685 over 16 x to the fifth, where this is the coefficient, and that's your answer.